Awesome, guys. Hopefully you're doing great. We're going to be doing these every Tuesday at 5 moving forward. Just started about a month ago and they've been going pretty good. And if there's things that you guys want me to train on specifically, as far as building a business, questions that you have, things that'll help you be better businessmen and women, let me know. Text me. I want to cover those things because we want to make this fruitful for everybody involved. Now, I know we have our a regional event coming up, and I want to thank you guys that are going to be there. This is going to be an amazing awards banquet. We've got so many great things lined up, and we haven't done this since 2018. So I'm just really excited about seeing you guys hanging out, befriending each other, building deeper rooted relationships, because better relationships lead to better eventual deals, which lead to more money. Does that make sense? Like everything is different, but everything is so much the same, right? Now, with that being said, I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you guys today, and what's impacted me from going from making less than $30,000 a year, living for the weekend, not really having any goals or aspirations other than competing and being an athlete, going from there to being able to make $30,000 a month and living a better life and to have more options, right? Because money's not everything. The ability to have options is, right? And I'm like, what's something that I've done consistently for the last, let's say, 10 years? What's one thing I've done consistently for my last 10 years? And I want to teach you guys this. And maybe you already know this, or maybe you're doing it, maybe you're not. But every single day, okay, I've been doing this for so long that I forget that I even do it. I forget to even talk about it. So whether it's in the morning, or it's in the middle of the day, or it's right before I go to bed, I do one of three things, right? So, and you guys can write these down, and I want to explain to you how this has made a huge difference in my life. There's a couple of people logging in 2 minutes late, right? It's okay. So this is what has made the biggest difference in my life. And you guys can write, and there's 3 different versions of how you guys can do this to be the best version of yourself, right? There's something I started off, and I learned this from, I think it was either Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins, all right? It's something called the 15 minutes to fulfillment. 15 minutes to fulfillment. If you have 30 minutes, you can call it 30 minutes to thrive. If you got an hour, right? I try to do an hour. It's what we call your hour of power. This is non-negotiable time, guys. Sometimes, and there's different ways that people do this, but I really want you to find your roots, your strength, right? Because throughout the day, things can shake you up. Things are going to knock you down. Bad things are going to happen. That's life, right? But if you start every single day a certain way, over and over and over and over again, eventually the chemistry in your brain, the chemicals in your brain are going to start shifting and changing. When I was younger, I went through this period of, maybe I was depressed a little bit. I was sad because I had a lack of results. I would feel stupid because I wasn't good at school. I'm dyslexic. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I read things or say things backwards many times. I grew up with a IEP, which is like, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that's an individual educational program. I was a special needs kid, right? So I have learning disabilities, but I turned them into superpowers, right? Because of myself, not because of the external world, because of myself. So every single day, if you're going to reach your ultimate life, right? Because it's not about money, it's about creating, and I say this in my intro, it's all about creating a life by design instead of submitting to a life by default. Okay, so every day I'd like to teach you guys, as businessmen, as businesswomen, as leaders, right? Maybe you have children and you're being an example for your kids. Maybe you're a part of a church or your religious group and you're being a leader there. People don't care what you say, they watch what you do, right? And they feel what you do. So what I do every day is, and it doesn't your hour of power, or your 30 minutes to thrive, or your 15 minutes to fulfillment, right? It doesn't have to be how mine is, okay? I understand, and I'm going to explain to you what I do, but I understand that there's all this external stimuli, right? And all these other human beings on this planet with us, influencing, saying things, commercials, TVs, wives, children. And if you don't center yourself in what your life is about and what you're committed to, then you're just going to be a cog in the system. Does that make sense? Like, you're just going to blindly follow. So when I wake up in the morning, I do a little bit of a breathing exercise, okay? Because I want to change, because there's three things in your life that are always affecting you or other people. Number one is your physiology. Your physiology, right? A person that's like this, when you're talking to them, right? When they're down like this, you know they're depressed, right? Because their body, their physiology says so. Does that make sense? So one thing you want to be aware of is your physiology, right? Your breathing. So it's your physiology. The second thing that really dictates your life and your results is your focus. Physiology, focus, and the third thing is language. When you guys met me and I was on the intro, remember how I was breaking down words and I was explaining to you guys why words are so powerful, right? Well, Tony Robbins calls it transformational vocabulary. And I want you to be aware of the things that you say to yourself on a habitual basis. Does that make sense? Like, one thing that I used to say without even knowing it until I started paying attention to it is, I'm not smart enough. It's just something that was in my head, right? These things, whether you realize or not, over time, they limit your greatness. And you guys are great, believe me, we're all great, but you're limiting your greatness. So again, there's three things: your physiology, your focus in a moment, your focus all day, your focus in a week. So your physiology, your focus in your language. All right. I want you to be aware of those three things. And as I start my day, maybe I'm tired, right? That's your state. That's your physiology. I'm tired. Maybe I was up all night because Sophia was crying, or maybe something happened, but I got a meeting at 9 a.m. Well, there's ways that I want you guys to start snapping out of your focus, getting the right energy in your body. I do things like breathing, deep breathing, fast breathing, slow breathing. I started taking cold showers. Okay. Cold showers energize you as much as you might hate them. Warm showers, hot showers relax you. What is that? That's physiology, right? So I want you guys to be aware of yourself, because then as businessmen and women, can you be aware of others and how they feel and how to help them? Remember, it always starts with us, guys. So when I wake up, I either do a breathing exercise, I'll do, and everybody's different, but I'll do 25 push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. And then I'll start thinking about how I want the day to go. Because if we're not intentional about our power and our energy and our thoughts, then they're going to be lost in the sauce. Does that make sense, guys? So in my family, like, my parents thought there was something wrong with their kid, because I would be in the basement talking to myself. And I'm not embarrassed or shy. I would talk to myself. I would tell myself that because I didn't love myself for a while because I thought I wasn't enough. So I started saying, Umair, I love you, man. I freaking love you. Right. And I want you guys to think about this. If try this on real quick. Even if you're just listening, just for the next 10 seconds, just smile. Just smile. Go ahead and smile. When you smile, it's impossible to feel bad. Right? When you just smile, you're just like, Umair, just smile. When your physiology smiles, psychologically, it's impossible to feel bad. And I was like, interesting. So this whole business thing is all about exploring and learning. But again, I'm trying to explain to you guys the things that have just helped me live a legendary life. So there's three things: your physiology, there's your focus, and your language. Your physiology, your focus, and your language. If you're having a rough day, if someone says something to you, negative thing to you, and it emotionally hurts you, it's not their fault that you're hurt by it. You have to take responsibility to how you're reacting to their language. Does that make sense? Right? So these are things that are going to empower you rather than depower you in your life as a businessman or a businesswoman. All right. So again, I want you guys to get into a practice of this, because then over time, you're going to become untouchable. Okay. And right now, I just want you to practice it for a week. And then next Tuesday, I want you guys to tell me how it went. Right. We're a team. We care about each other. So every morning, this is what I do. And I want you to create a routine. The best entrepreneurs on the planet, the best business people, the best leaders, they all do something similar to this. They may call it, I do a prayer in the morning, right? But that grounds them. Now at a minimum, I do a 15 minutes of fulfillment, and that's changing my breathing, changing my state, my physiology, so you can say affirmations all day, like, I'm great, I'm a happy person, I'm excited about life, but that's not going to do it. There's a difference between an affirmation and an incantation. When you incant something, you bring emotion into it, right? For those of you who have known me since when we had an office, I used to be so scared to talk in front of people. You guys would never guess now. I used to freak out. So right before I did an orientation training at my office, and the team would be like, Umair, where do you go before the meeting? Like, you always disappear the first 30 minutes. I would go into the bathroom, I would do my incantations, and I would condition myself, not for just myself, but to serve the people that I was going to be speaking in front of. Does that make sense? So every day, a good practice, guys, if you're going to be phenomenal business people, phenomenal leaders, is you want to commit to doing something that changes for 15, 30 minutes or an hour, your physiology, changes your focus, and changes your language. Okay. I wrote things down. I started creating the vision of who I was. And then at the end, so I'll wake up and do a breathing exercise. I may take a cold shower. I'll get nice and energized. I'll say incantations. I'll read over my goals. I'll visualize my goals as if they've already happened, right? I used to say when I got started, I said, I'm going to be coached by Bob Snyder. I'm going to be able to spend time with him every week. I'm going to be on the Renatus PAC. I want to be a President Advisory Council member. I would say that every day. I would say, I'm going to make $1 million in my Renatus business. I'm going to make $1 million, and I would feel it. And I imagined $1 million in my back office. And then it happened. When I started my rental business, I was like, man, I'm going to make, and when I started, it was like, I'm going to make $10,000 a month. I'm committed to 10. And I was like, man, I saw because I had the bank. So I visualized my online banking. And when people deposit money into my account, it's like a green thing, like money came in, like it's green and it says $1,000, $500, $700. So I would imagine me scrolling and all the money and me on the first of the month, looking at all of that money coming into my bank account. Guess what I do on the first of the month every month? I'll send you screenshots if you guys want to see. I look at my bank account and I see all my tenants giving me passive income. So it all started with a seed, my friends, all of it. And I'm not smarter. I'm not more intelligent. I don't have anything more than what you guys have, except the hunger and the willingness to be coachable. And when I started, I had guys telling me the same thing. And for a while, I would just blow them off. I'm like, yeah, because my belief wasn't there. Your business is not going to grow if your belief is not there. Okay. So 15 minutes to thrive is waking up. I do it in the morning, or you could do it in the afternoon or even midday, but changing your breathing, doing a couple of quick exercises, right? Because you have to change your physiology. Okay. If you're in a stuck state, if you're thinking a certain way, You got to get out of that state, because that state is going to create a downward negative spiral, especially because you know how bad things, they compound, guys. But the beauty of this thing is positive things compound as well, right? And I know what we're all stacked up against with society and the economy and haters and this and that. Like, I get that. But I want to teach you guys, like a long time ago, I started learning how to be more internal, right? So every day for the next week, my challenge for you guys is to do at least a 15 minutes to fulfillment. Okay. And this is what it is. Changing your breathing, deep breathing. I do stuff like this, and it might sound weird, but right? Because when you do that, your physiology changes, right? You might even get a little lightheaded. It's like, whoa, that's different, because you're oxidizing your body, right? So I do some breathing, I do some push-ups, and then right after that, I start saying things like, I'm getting better and better every day. I love myself, right? Because we gotta, if we're coming from a place of loving ourselves, that's the only way we're gonna be able to love and help other people. You guys feel me? Like, there's so many people trying to help others, but they don't even love themselves yet. And I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna get love unless you love yourself first, right? So I do some breathing, I do some exercising, I say some incantations, because what I'm wanting to do is program this computer for success, right? You guys have access to the most complex computer on the planet, your brain. It didn't come with an instruction manual, but there are other people who have, it's called brain priming. And when you prime the brain for success, where focus goes, energy flows, right? And a lot of times when people get started with us, they're focused on their lack, they're focused on their debt, they're focused on their fear, they're focused on the money, right? And the more people focus on that negative stuff, it compounds. So as leaders, as businessmen and women, your job is, as a leader, is to help them change their focus. Look, this is the definition of leader. I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, you guys ready for this? And you can remember this. The definition of leadership is defined as the ability to influence the thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, and emotions of others. That's a leader. When you're a mom, when you're a dad, when you have a team, and when you love people, you want to influence them for the better. Does that make sense? So that's what I wanted to give to you guys today. And sometimes I'll close my eyes and listen to my breathing. I'll try to get my brain to just be quiet for like 10 minutes. And I'll feel so much better the rest of the day. And if something does come and punch me in the face, like, hey, maybe my hot water heater went out in one of my units, right? Or maybe if someone hit my car, right? I can go back and get present to my goals. And I ask myself some questions, and it helps me. So that is one thing that I've done the last at least 10, maybe even 15 years. I learned it early, because state control is the most important thing you're going to need to know as a new businessman or businesswoman. When someone slams the door in your face and you get 100 no's, you can give up, or you could let it affect you, or you can decide to say, you know what, on to the next one. I'm focused on my vision. Does that make sense? So if you haven't done it yet, create your own vision for what your life is supposed to be like. And everybody's different. Remember, some people are audio driven. Some people are kinesthetic. They need to feel themselves doing it. Some people are visual. So I don't know what you are and what your brain is more susceptible to, but I want you to create a vision so powerful that when the bad things happen, and they will happen, that you're unshakable, right? I'm literally unshakable. I feel that way, right? And are there days where I'm up or I'm down or I'm emotional? Yeah, guys, I'm a human like you. But I try to limit those days as much as possible. So some key points is I want to teach you guys to be more internal, right? Internal instead of external. If you allow the external world to dictate how you feel, how you act, and how you behave, then you're always going to be chasing that. Does that make sense? You're going to be chasing acceptance from others. You're perfect the way you are. You're building your business the way you want, right? Like when I started, my mom and dad and my family said, you got scammed. You spent 20 grand on a college that's not a college. I'm so grateful that I stood firm in my beliefs and what I'm capable of, because if I let them into my brain, I would have canceled and wouldn't be where I'm at right now. My dad would still be working some dead-end job to make sure him and my mom had enough money, right? Just by understanding key concepts like how to get rich using the banks, by understanding velocity banking, by understanding how to create my own family bank, by understanding self-directed retirement accounts, like all this stuff. I mean, I'm thriving, right? And so this is what I want the team to practice so you can be unshakable, right? So the next time you get a no, or a seller turns you down, or the conversation didn't go the way you wanted it to, you're not sitting there being external. You've learned how to create the emotions, the physiology, and the focus. So things I want you guys focusing on this week is paying attention to your internal dialogue and catching yourself. I know this sounds crazy, but you have to learn to be the watcher of your own thoughts. Some days I'm thinking violently, and I'm thinking violent. Like, why am I thinking like that? So I have to catch myself. You know, I'm a fighter. I've always fought. I was living in scarcity. So for a while, I had to catch these things. I had to catch the thoughts, write them down, and then ask a question like, what would be causing me to think that way? What would I have to believe to think that about this person? So I know I'm giving you guys a lot, and some of it might be going through over your head, but these are deep, deep, deep things that are going to help you level up as a businessman and a businesswoman. And if you can't overcome certain things, like if you're stuck in an emotion, but you can't get over that emotion, then what does that say? That says you have no control over your life and your circumstances. Anytime someone else takes me out of my homeostasis, my well-being, if you allow something else to let you get wild up, you don't have any control, right? So it's not that person's fault. I want you guys as leaders to start looking at yourselves. This is going to help you in your sales business and your goals 10x, guys. So some action items today is pay attention to your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings. Remember, there's 3 things that you want to focus on: your physiology, your physical physiology, your focus, and the language that you're using over and over and over. Something that I did for a really long time is when I couldn't figure something out, in my brain, I would say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But when I said, I don't know, it alleviated the pain a little bit because it put an end, right? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what to do, right? And when you say that, when I would say that to myself, it was basically me giving up. So you know what I stopped saying? I stopped saying, I don't know. That was me wimping out on really figuring out how and making a change, right? Because as you start learning to solve your own problems, and you guys are going to get better at solving other people's problems. And if you watched, like if you were on the property tour with Keith and LaFay Jones, what were they talking about? They were talking about how as real estate investors, they've become really good problem solvers, right? That's the key, my friends. So that's what I wanted to give you. I cannot wait to see you guys. We're going to celebrate. We're going to have fun. We're going to go bowling. I know the training is going to be phenomenal. We've got a good awards banquet. Make sure you guys dress nice. I freaking went and got my suits dry cleaned. I'm not a suit kind of guy. But guys, we're going to be suit and tie, bow tied, looking good. So I want to take some pictures of you guys. I know Ariel said he might be bringing some videos he's going to, and see, I love the way Ariel thinks. He goes, Umer, What if I brought some videographers to videotape me on stage? I'm like, dude, that would be good positioning for your YouTube channel, right? So we're always thinking about how we can position ourselves as the experts in the field, right? Like if Daisy, you're coming to a real estate investing event and Daisy Walker is a real estate agent, you can tell your people what you're doing to become a better agent than anyone else. Wow, Daisy has an investor group. Daisy is not just an agent, she's an investor too, right? What separates Daisy from every other investor out there? She's smart enough to be learning investing as well. So what she's doing is giving her agent business a value add, right? Cool. Well, guys, this week, 15 minutes to fulfillment at least. Do some jumping jacks, talk to yourself, love yourself, be crazy, and, right? And start creating the vision that you want for yourself, right? And it's so funny, like, and I listen to people when they talk. Like Keith was like, before he got started with Renatus, he thought about investing for 20 years. He thought about investing in for 20 years, and in just 2, he started doing deals. I was like, wow, I thought about that the other day. Keith Jones said that in his story. He goes, yeah, I started thinking, I wanted to invest, and I thought about it for 20 years. When the original reason why him and LaFay got together was because they had real estate in common. Isn't it interesting how they waited 20 years? They were just, I mean, so our goal, what we want to do is really push people to their greatness, because they'll thank you afterward, right? All right, guys, this was good. Now, last 3 minutes, I just want to hang out with you guys. Last week, what did we cover last week? Was it ads? Or we covered the ICM stuff?
The system, that system, I think we covered. You were covering the system.
Okay, if you guys haven't done this already, go to oursmartsystem.com and get access to that CRM system. I mean, our business is about to change for the better. You guys making money as a side gig with Renatus is going to get so easy, and I'll be able to help guide you. Right now, it's just getting people to the meeting and answering their questions, but we have a fully automated CRM system, which is going to help you build your business better. So we talked about that last week. The week before that, I literally gave you guys advertisements you can put out.
Yes.
Right. Hopefully you guys use, like, you know, sometimes when you give too much and you're like, with kids, when you baby children, they don't do anything, right? So I want you guys to start taking responsibility of your own business, because it's your business, right? But I want you to use the stuff. Every week we're talking about different things, okay? Next week, I think we're going to be talking about a little something about finances, okay? Now, if you guys have some quick questions, let me know, but start every day out strong by conditioning and programming your mind. Listen to some motivational stuff. Listen to public speakers. One of my favorites is John Maxwell, right? Because as you prime your brain for success, you're going to start attracting some amazing things, right? And all that stuff's going to compound, guys. I can almost guarantee that. So let me check the chats, and then we'll jump off. Normally, I call it attesting my negative thoughts because of how thoughts. Yes, man, Truman, that's so true. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Josh, I hope you're using some of this stuff. Great action plans. So this week, try it on. Let me know how you guys felt throughout the day. If you're like intentional about what you're doing and how you're creating it, and it'll all start coming together. A Minute with Maxwell. Is that something I can look up? Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Guys, on Thursday night, Bob Snyder's gonna be there. We're gonna have a big intro. If we have time, we're gonna do a mastermind room on the other side. Bring friends and family, right? People don't know they can do stuff unless they actually have the information. So everyone's invited to Thursday night. Guests are even invited to the training. The guests are free. If you're registered for the regional, you can have guests come and learn more about our business. Make sure you guys dress up. And I just want to thank the people who are actually volunteering. Like, it really means a lot. We had so many people before, and a lot of people have come and gone. Some people are, we have over 300 people here locally. Some are just learning, doing their job, and doing real estate on the side. Everybody is different, so it feels good to be bringing the whole group back together, because it's gonna end up to creating more and more deals, right? And I'm glad, Ben, you're on. Like, look, I'll give you guys an example. Like Ben, I've known Ben for a long time. Maybe some of you guys know Ben or not, but Ben just brought a deal to the table, and me and him have been working this deal the last couple of days together. He goes, Umair, he's filling out a contract. He's making an offer to an attorney. We're brainstorming ways, exit strategies. He goes, I don't know, Umair, I can fix and flip it. Or if you think it's a better idea, I can wholesale it. I said, I don't know, right? But if Ben wasn't a part of the community, it wouldn't lead to like a $15,000 check or a $20,000 check. So we're all talking about creating a better quality of life for each other. Yes, self-talk is dangerous when it is negative. Yeah, I mean, it's really detrimental to a lot of people's success. Like, I know a lot of really smart people, but they beat themselves up with negative self-talk or fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fear thing is, man, guys, like, I get it, because I was so afraid when I got started, and I was afraid of making steps, but I'm just so glad that over time I got out of that scarcity mindset, because it was killing me. It was killing me. I was afraid someone was going to take advantage of me. I was afraid of money. I was afraid of partnerships. I was afraid of nonsense, until I started priming my brain every day, and then using those positive emotions, right? Emotions are energy in motion. Emotions are energy in motion. So if you direct those emotions in a way that empower you, they're going to create empowering results. Guys, I'm 2 minutes over. I love the fact that we get to hang out every Tuesday. Tell other people to join us. And if you have things that you want me to talk about, or things that you want to have happen in the community, reach out to somebody in leadership. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you soon. It's Tuesday, Thursday night. Who's bringing guests? I am. Cheers. Bye, guys.
Thanks, man. Great stuff.
You're welcome. I'm glad you came.
Set my timer. I want to make sure I was here.
Sure. You said set retirement?
No, I said I set my timer because I wanted to make sure I was here.
Okay. I'm glad you did, man. And I hope it was fruitful for you. So this
Definitely
week, do the action plan, and we're going to talk about it next week, how it went for everybody.
Absolutely. I am using some of that stuff even now. So I'm so glad you brought it up.
That's why you got you've got the best attitude so far out of our group, right? You show up, you're smiling, you're asking questions. It shows because you do some of that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
All right, guys.
Good leadership.
Later.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Have a good one.